Hello, welcome to another interesting just in time series with Vishwadharma. So, today's topic is universal, very big concept, and the concept is how to promote peace, right? Well, so before we even think about how do we promote peace, let's first understand what is peace. Okay, so what is big deal, Vishwa? The peace is all about, you know, having calmness, calm mind, and maintaining a kind of, calm environment, and so on, right? So let's see quickly what is the dictionary talks about. So I'm just typing peace here, and let's see the definition. So the freedom from disturbance, okay, good, tranquility, calmness. Let's see the second point, a state or period in which there is no war or a war has ended. Oh my God, when you read this statement, I know what comes to your mind, right? Especially in the current times. So let's, get into this topic and what are the interesting elements here, right? So, first thing is, even before we talk about how to promote peace, let's first understand why peace is required. Come on, Vishwa. Peace is very much required because we are all interdependent and we are a dependent society, and our life is not just simply goes on based on our individual, aspects, right? Our life, right from the time that we get up out of our bed, everything else is depending on others, right? But the cylinder should comes from the gas cylinder comes from others, and the clothes made by others, and the products and the instruments and gadgets and the books and vegetables, fruits, whatnot. The whole life runs based on the high dependency and association on among all these various entities, right? So if there is a disturbance, distortion of peace at one place, definitely it has a cascading effect. So definitely peace is very important. There's no doubt about it. Peace is universal subject. So what is the point all about, Vishwa? So if you ask me like this, right? So I just want to think about the interconnectivity and the kind of dependencies that we have, right? Mr. A depends on Mr. E, Mr. E or Mr. and Mrs. Mr. E depends on Q, and Q depends on C, C depends on so. This whole society is a kind of fabric that's woven together with a lot of transactions that happens every second, right? And we cannot isolate ourselves from this whole big chain of fabric. And it's very important that something that happens at some place does have an impact throughout the transactions. So we understand why peace is not just important, but it's necessary, and in fact it's mandatory to live our life peacefully. Right? So now, even before we get into the core topic of how to promote peace, first let's understand the types of peace, the categories, right? So if you think about the categorization, it's two aspects, internal and external. And some people say that okay, it's not about external, internal peace is important, and if you are peaceful internally, that's enough, right? But um, are you sure that internal peace is sufficient? Internal peace is alone sufficient? Okay, let's think logically and have a realization. So if you analyze this for a minute, let's see internal peace and external peace here, and then inference we have this tabular summary. So internal peace, let's say that we have internal peace. Yes, my mind is very calm, and I have tranquility of the mindset. But um, external side, external factors also good, and there is a calm and the surroundings are very calm and peaceful and everything is peaceful. So um, definitely, it's a good state of situation, right? It's a good thing. Well, the second scenario is like internal peace is there, but external peace is not there, right? Maybe some kind of noise, some kind of complexity, chaos, precarious situation, the neighborhood community, and something like that. Then the inference is definitely, it's somewhat okay because internally you are peaceful. Your mind is at, peace in terms of all the things related to your own life. It's good, but somehow externally it's not the same. So internal peace, the third scenario, internal peace, no, but external peace is yes. Let's say you are, going to a garden. You are at a beautiful garden, excellent, maybe a beach or something like that, and view is very good, but your mind is filled with lots of questions, challenges, and some kind of, some worry that keeps bugging. So the what is the inference? Sad state of mind, because you are internally totally disturbed, whereas externally the place is good, the environment is good. So now the last scenario is like, the no internally mind is not so good, and externally also there is a battle, quarrels, war, chaos, complexity, precarious situation everywhere, right? Then you see what it's called. So now let's see what is so interesting about this, right? How do we achieve internal peace? Now we are getting into the topic, like, how do we promote the peace? So how do we accomplish that internal peace? So we discussed that there are two categories, internal and external. And now let's see how do we accomplish or achieve internal peace. Well, Vishwa, it's very straightforward. Many aspects, many methods are there. If we make others happy, then what you give and what you get and something like that. Maybe if you feed the animals, birds, and all that kind of good deeds, you can have internal peace. You'll have the kind of self satisfaction and promotes peace. Or you may learn yoga. Well, no, Vishwa, it's too complicated, and some people say that it's simple and it's an exercise, kind of aerobics. But some people say that it's a methodological, subject, and you have to really follow seriously with some good masters and so on, right? Well, then in that case you can go for meditation also. But yes, some of you may be thinking that um, I do yoga and I do meditation also, morning and evening. Then the question comes: are you doing it in the right way? Right? Remember the other video where we talked about the right things doing in a wrong way, right? So based on the authentic, literature that I have gone through, so the sequence here is first you have to do yoga and then you have to do meditation, because if your body is flexible, if you can keep your body flexible, and if your body starts listening to you, and if it's under your control, then you can make it sit for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 minutes or 20 minutes. So yoga is first, meditation is next. That's the right sequence. There's no harm if you want to try meditation first, yoga next, that's also fine, but it's a difficult route, it's a difficult path. So other aspect of promoting internal peace is keep chanting the name of God, whoever you believe, right? That itself takes care of your internal calmness and peaceful, promotion. Then cultivate some habits like gardening, playing, satsang sessions, and so on. Yes, I like this part, right? Reading books, or if you are practical oriented and you are serious about life, you start reading scriptures, or even you talk to the family members. Well, all this promotes internal peace. Now let's see how do we achieve external peace. Oh my God, it's a very complicated part of the peace, right? So because external factors are not in our control most of the times, and you are not in others control also. Right? So lot of factors influence us on day-to-day basis. So Vishwa, how do we promote, how do we inculcate, how do we control external peace, and how do we promote? Well, don't worry. First, let us dissect into, you know, what are the peace destroying aspects, right? What destroys peace, or what controls peace, or what distorts peace? If you look at it, our day to day life, right? The movies, videos, news, events, it does have an impact. I'm not saying that they are totally disturbing, but of course, it has a huge, enormous impact on our day to day life, right? Our whole life revolves around this, and it does willingly, right? It's not saying that somebody force you to watch a movie. It's purely out of your willingness, or somebody doesn't force you to watch a video or news or something. It's a natural compulsion or a natural willingness. Well, it starts with yourself basically. Oh, come on, Vishwa, you are getting into the routine answers, routines. No, hold on. So I can give you the best, logical part of this whole topic. Just to bear with me a few more minutes. I'm slowly taking you to the different world, right? So let's see the third point: participates in satsang. Well, satsang, what exactly is satsang, right? Being with good people, being with the right people, right? Being with the right people, being with good people, being with, the association, having a good company, the company of the good people, and all these things, right? So strengthen each person's belief system. If somebody believes something, just simply don't negate, right? Just try to strengthen their belief system. That's okay. They will realize one day if their belief system is wrong. And if you are strengthening their belief system, if they are in a right path, well, you are contributing for their success. So showcase your success and inspire people. So this is another important thing. Lot of people, lot of successful people in our society, right? But very few explains their hard work, their daily routine, their activities, right? What made them to accomplish that success. So the very few people talk about the inputs that made them to achieve certain outputs, right? So their daily routines, that itself reveals a lot of lessons for many people who are aspiring to be successful. So demonstrating that is very important through some sessions, or through some friends, or maybe like this through some kind of videos. So peace promoting events in every single act. Let's say you are at work, you are trying to have some conversations, office conversation, or maybe at a school, you are trying to, you are teaching the kids, or you are at maybe some factory or student or something. So ensure that whatever activities that you are involved into, see how you can promote peace in that. Let's say you are going to a shop, right? A shop, a market. You can simply greet a person honestly and with a good smile, and that releases the positive vibrations in the environment. Well, I'll talk about all those other aspects maybe in some other video. Educating children, the impact of, right from the primary school level, like a daily prayer, there should be some kind of activity that promotes peace, right? Importance of peace. Most of the schools are doing it, but are they, what is the effectiveness, right? How is the impact? How do they measure? That's important. And then rewarding peace, somebody is trying to promote peace through some kind of gestures and some kind of very good efforts, but where is the reward, right? There's some kind of encouragement is required for such people who are promoting peace. And withdraw, supporting peace destroying. So something is destruction, and you have to just simply withdraw yourself and don't involve if you want to achieve external peace. Well, so what is so interesting, Vishwa? These are all the most common points. Okay, okay. So let's first understand and let's decode, you know, what influences our life so significantly. Let us take some kind of, case study in a minute, right? We can take some case study, some kind of interesting, useful use case. But before that, let's just simply, put our focus on individual transformation. Why? Because it leads to the family transformation. Family transformation leads to neighborhood, and community transformation leads to society transformation. So it has a cascading effect, right? If I am peaceful, and if I am trying to do my best at home, and my family get inspiration by looking at me naturally, and then my neighborhood, and then my relatives, and my community, my friends, and my colleagues, and it's a whole chain of ripple effect. So now, as I said, let's take one case study, right? One use case. Knowing that violence is not good for society, why these days a lot of movies show violence, right? It's an interesting case study. So we all know that nobody likes violence. We all know that you will not get any benefit from violence when people are falling sick, when people become sick, right? And you cannot really do anything out of it because your life is dependent, and you can't do. If you are a businessman, then you can't achieve anything because when people fall sick, then whole system gets distorted and disturbed, and you will not get enough the daily commodities, the commodities people say, right? So your daily routine is disturbed. Your daily routine itself is disturbed because our money is maintained by somebody like a bank system. Our savings are maintained and managed with somebody. We get the vegetables from somebody. We get the fruits from somebody. We get the rice, wheat, and all the grocery items from somebody. Somebody produces all these things, and we just simply get it. So our life is totally depends on the well-being of each and every individual who is supplying all these things for our day-to-day life. Do you agree? Yes. Then knowing that it's very important, why the movies contain so much of violence. Well, Vishwa, is it really an interesting case study? Because they just simply, entertainment purpose, and then why don't they think that uh, a piece is important? What benefit do they get from a sick society? Sick society, right? If the society becomes sick, then what benefit they get? So they need audience. They need rich audience. They want audience to be rich financially. Everybody should do well so that they get they get their money because of the movies and the ticket sales and all these things, right? So if peace is so important, then why the filmmakers, the directors, they don't even think about it, right? Okay, how do you know that they don't think about it? How do you know that they don't like it? How do you know that they don't want it? We cannot say that they are not thinking about it, right? Because they know the importance of peace, and they know the healthy audience spend their money for entertainment purpose. They need good audience, they need healthy audience, they want the audience to live their life peacefully, and they can earn some good money so that they can spend on entertainment, right? Every filmmaker knows about it. So knowing that, why is there violence? Think about it. Think about it. Why is there violence in movies? Knowing all that, when the peace is important, then why violence in the movies? It looks simple, but when you think, you don't get answer that easily and that instantly, right? Why? Because you may have a logic by now that, well, Vishwa, movies are for entertainment purpose. What is so big deal about it? You can't really take it serious, right? They're just simply, just because some violent scenes are there, you can't just simply take it up. Is it so? Is it so? So if movies are for entertainment purpose, then why people cry when they watch movies? Why they get tears? Why they get frightened? Why they get scary to see some of the movies? Does all movies gives you an entertainment? Think about it. The crime movie, suspense, thriller, drama. Crime is an entertainment. Suspense and thriller. You have seen, you have read this, and you have seen. That some of the audience, right? Some of the people, they died of heart attack when they were watching a movie, some kind of horror movie or suspense, thrillers, psychological thriller movies. We have seen that, right? We heard about it. So, crime is an entertainment. What kind of entertainment is it? If you say that yes, the crime is an entertainment, then what kind of entertainment? Well, Vishwa, it doesn't really matter. How do we say that they distort or destroy the peace? It's just an entertainment. If you're still not convinced, then don't worry. I will take you to the logical path where you can happily and definitely you will agree with this particular logical process. If it is entertainment, why do people take it seriously? Why do they get tears? Why do they get all kinds of emotions, right? Well, some people take it seriously, not all. If that's your argument, then you know I understand, I know that some people take seriously, not everybody, and I'm not talking about everybody, right? It's about that particular population, that particular section of people who take it seriously. So the point here is, you know, it's it's about understanding more in depth why do they take it seriously. The simple answer here is, the logic here is, they love movies. So it's their passion. If you love something, you take it very seriously. You get it? So if you love something, you take it very seriously. You are involved, you are committed, you engross so much into it. Right? So knowing that it's an entertainment, then why do they become so emotional? That question still valid. We don't have answer that yet. Right? So why do they take it serious? See, it's the emotional part. Whether you like the movie or you don't like a movie, you are emotionally connected to it. Right? It's not that only if you like movie then your emotions are on. No, even if you like it, even if you dislike it, your emotions are already connected to that. Right? The question is still like, why do they take it seriously? Well, the logic here is really interesting. I want to reveal here, like, once you become a director, you can never 100% experience or feel the movie like an audience. Think about it. This is an important logic. Once you become a director or a filmmaker, you can never truly experience a movie like an audience. Not yet convinced? See, I'm not saying that you will not understand the audience. It's not a question of understanding. You know the pulse, the director knows the pulse, the director knows the audience taste, he knows or she knows what exactly is required, to show, and what exactly makes the audience feel better, right? But they can never get that kind of experience. They cannot see a movie exactly as the same way that audience watch that movie, right? Because it's a life evolution. So let's say, maybe you are 30 years or 40 years old. Can you uh, feel exactly the same way like how you felt when you were a 10 years old or 5 years old boy or girl? Can you feel the same way now? You can never get that same feeling back again now, because you already crossed the timeline. So the transition has already happened when you become an individual to a director, right? So what it essentially means is, when you become a director, right, the way that you see the things are entirely different. Because for you as a director, violence, or the violence or the crime scenes or whatever, it's part of movie making process, right? As an audience, you don't, the way that you feel totally different, because you are not part of the movie making process, right? The directors, the filmmakers, they involve in the making process, which means they 100% they're conscious that it's artificial. They know it's the knife, the sword, blood, tears, hue and cry, emotions. It's all not real. It's all artificial. They're 100% conscious, right? Because it's part of the movie making process, the story, script, and whatever it is. So they can never really feel its true impact. But for audience, it's not like that, right? For audience, it's totally different. So, like how a priest see the god's idol, compared to others, how a doctor see a patient compared to the nurse, how pilot see an airplane compared to others, how the teacher see the kids compared to the principal, right? How a mother see the kids and how a father see the kids, there is a variation. There is a variation between how the doctor see the patient and how the nurse see the patient, right? So, do you agree now? How a director see a movie is totally different from how the audience perceive it, how the audience see, and how the audience experience. Yes, right. So it's similarly how a CEO see the organization is totally different from how the team members see it. How the parents see the kids is totally different from how their relatives see them. So the question here is that variation helping them, the schools, home, hospitals, organization peaceful? The question is the impact, right? What impact is it creating? Is this variation creating an impact, right? Remember, the topic is how to promote peace. Now, if so much of violence is there in the movies, and if it is not intentional, if it is not something done wantedly by the filmmakers and directors, then what is the logic? They do this. Interesting, right? So the movies does have a lot of influence on people mind, right? Just imagine, recollect your kid after watching a Superman or Spider-Man, Batman. He or she might have, acted so well imitating the same characters like a Spider-Man or a Superman, right? Why does so? Why does it so? It has an impact on the human brain. So the question is, don't they know this? When they know that movies has a lot of impact on human mind and the audience mind, and I mean the kids and everybody, all kinds of all section of people's mind, knowing that, why, right, still they make so much of violence content based movie, right? So you know that they don't feel like the audience, that's why they make it. The answer is they don't exactly feel the same way that how audience feel, that's why they make it, right? Now what is the solution? Solution, how do we promote peace then? If so much of violence is there, and because the directors do not truly feel the same way that the audience feel, they understand audience, I underline and bold this, they understand, they know the pulse, but they never truly experience the same way that how audience feel, because they have already transitioned from their individual state of mind to the director mindset. So the solution here is simple, and it's not a novel idea. See, as a director, when you are taking the audience from their own real world to your world, it's your responsibility to bring them back and drop them into their source place or the real world. Simple thing, right? You are taking them to an imaginary world, to your own world. And now it's your responsibility to bring them back. Otherwise, the state of mind continues and it gets disturbed and distorted. Do you see the screen now, like, the picture that you are seeing here? What comes to your mind when you see this? Closely observe, you are thinking what exactly is this, and your mind started thinking what it is. So just like, you see this bridge and where is it taking and all this, and it's now this imaginary world, and all these pictures, and you see, what comes to your mind. You may be thinking, which movie is this, what is this, what is this, but what is actually pulling this person, right? The photo that you are seeing, is it a railway station, is it a bullet train? So something, your mind constantly things and try to recollect it. It scan your brain and try to recollect and compare it with your, the past experience, whatever the memory, that photos or whatever images that your brain has. It just simply scan it to tell you what exactly is this. See, when a photo, simple photo picture itself has so much of thought process in your mind, don't you think that the movie has an influence, and it takes them to a different world? So when you are taking the audience from their real world to different world, imaginary world, it's your responsibility to bring them back to the real world, right? So how do you make it? How do you bring them back to the real world? How do you drop them at their, source? Simple thing, as I said, it's not a novel idea. You just simply add some making scenes. I think it's called bloopers. Some kind of making scenes or a shooting, maybe some, scenes, especially the crime scenes, especially the violent scenes, how you made it. You just have to display the same thing, the making of so and so scene at the end of the movie after your climax, everything is done. So this simple small activity, does large influence, does impact a big way to the audience. There are some directors who follow this. I salute them, I applaud, I admire them. Such a simple act takes, lot of impact, and gives a lot of good contribution back to the society. When you are taking audience to your world, you have to bring it, bring them back to the real world. No, Vishwa, so if we take it, then what is the magic of cinema? We lose it, right? No, it's not that. So you know the people purchase a ticket, and then they watch a movie. After watching a movie 2 hours or 3 hours, and then they go back, they have to get back to their daily routine life, right? They should not become insane and mad on the streets. Right? So they should forget your movie, and they should come back to their normal life, their real life, and they have to take care of their responsibilities as a father, as a mother, as a kid, as a student, right? They have to. So it's a responsibility to preserve and restore that. Oh well, I don't care, because I want my movie. I'm very passionate director. That magic should stay in the mind of my audience. Well, if you are thinking that way, then it creates a lot of problem for you. Why? Because if the audience remembers your movie, if you expect the audience to remember your movie for forever, right, then it will impact your next movie. They cannot come out, or they cannot, simply stop comparing it, right? If you don't want them to forget your movie, then how will you expect them to embrace your next movie? It has an impact on all your next projects, right? So that's why we should not have an unreasonable expectation, right? Well, you made a movie, and people watched it, and they got the entertainment. You have to drop them in their real world, and then you have to go to the next project, take them to the, world, and then drop them safely back. Take the next project, take them to a different world, drop them back. So that circle has to be completed, the 360-degree has to be completed. Then you are automatically contributing for a peaceful society. You are contributing for making, your audience life so easy and smooth, and they can make money, they can earn, they can live a nice life, they can lead a good life, and they will have, money to spend for your next movies, right? They can spend their time, energy, money for entertainment. Do you agree? Right now, you see the picture, the making scene. whatever happens in the background, now your mind fixes that okay, this is just a shooting making process. Now we don't know what exactly is the scene, right? It may be a heated argument, something kind of, but the moment you see the entire picture, you get a feel that okay, it's something, shooting in progress or a making, right? That feel you will not have that, kind of. So it's important that you add some kind of making scenes at the end of the movie or the video, right? So that you are bringing your audience back to their real world. You like it? Do you agree? So such a simple small gesture takes care of peace restoration, right? Well, it's not the end of the story. There are a lot of things that controls our mind, and um, uh, the behavioral aspects. So you know what exactly controls our mind? What exactly influences our behaviors, right? So various things are there to achieve external peace. I'll talk about it in a minute. Um, we discussed about this particular case study use case, like the movie as an example, right? There are various other things that you can achieve external peace. As I mentioned, you have seen this particular points, right? So that's not the end of the story unless you understand the bigger aspect. What is the bigger aspect? The bigger aspect is understanding that what controls our mind, right? How do you create that magical experience? Well, I'm not trying to teach here anything, uh, it's about creating an environment from certain group of people where you want certain, kind of output, right? So that's called one simple thing, right? Very, very simple thing. It's called about environment. Environment is what controls our mind and behavior. See, if you are at a temple, your behavior is different. If you are at a, let's say, some festival or some kind of holy function, something, your behavior is different. If you are at party, your behavior is different. If you are, at a meditation hall, your behavior is different. So same person behaving differently at different places with different people. So now the key question is, what environment that you need to create for getting what kind of behavior, right? If you can master this particular element, you can design your own success. You can become master of your own success. If you know how to design, how to create an environment where you get some exactly desired result, right? You need to think logically to get the answers for yourself. Can you expect this the pin drop silence from a children's park? Can you expect some kind of fun activities at a funeral ceremony? Right? So what can you expect from what kind of environment, right? If you want peace, what kind of environment that you need from the specific set of people or specific set of aspects? The buildings, chair, furniture, color of the wall, directions, wind direction, ventilation, carpets, indoor plants, AC, lighting, etc., etc., etc. So, what environment that you need to create for your employees to be at most productive? What environment that you need to create for all the neighborhood, right? The whole apartment can live peacefully. What environment that you need to have for a whole city to be peaceful? What environment that you need to create for the whole world to be peaceful and there are no wars? Think about it, and you will get answers. And I already gave you a lot of solutions. I already gave you a lot of pointers, right? Now if you start practicing how to design an environment, designing is not that easy, right? Designing an environment, how to design an environment to get a desirable result. Design an environment to get a desirable result. If you start practicing, then you will get wonderful output, right? So I wish you all the very best. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. I hope this is stimulating your thought process analytically, logically, so that helps you to become a better version of yourself and ourselves, right? So signing off once again. I really thank you. Take care.